It's Monday, May 20th, 2019, and you are watching That Betting Show right here at sportsbookreview.com. We have a loaded show today. Oh, bad beat. Doesn't matter what you had in the NBA yesterday. You had a bad beat. We're going to break down MLB. We're going to break down NBA tonight. Let's get right into it, right off the bat, and bring in my co-host, Drew Martin, at DrewMartinBets.com. Drew, or at Drew Martin Bets on Twitter, I should say. Great to have you, Drew. Welcome to the show.
Teddy, happy Monday to you. Happy Monday out there to the watchers. It was a great weekend of sports, and this is my last time on stepping in for Donnie Rightside, so excited to get into it. But we got hot topic of the day, Teddy. We got the game last night in the NBA. I'm going to throw it to you for most of this, but I will tell you something about the total. As the Raptors do win Game 3 and make a series out of this, Teddy, if you had the Bucks, a tough beat. But I'm telling you, if you had the under, an absolutely brutal beat. It does not get much worse than this. Talk about totals bettors betting the under, getting OT'd. How about double OT'd, Teddy? This was a tough one. My heart goes out to you if you had the under last night. That's about as bad as it gets.
Yeah, I mean, when you're having under in any NBA game, the number one goal, no overtime. And then the game goes to OT and you survive. You still have so much room with a total close at 221 in that range, 221 and a half. You got plenty of room. You survive overtime, but it goes to double OT. Overtime's where unders goes to die. Double OT is where all unders go to die. And of course, didn't go over till there was a minute left in the second overtime. That is absolutely brutal when you have a right side and a wrong result. And it's not just one OT, it's two OTs. And of course, both teams with ample opportunity to win that game straight up in regulation, both teams with chances to win it in overtime. I mean, the Bucks didn't play well, flat out. You know, Chris Middleton, Eric Bledsoe, ice cold between them. They missed 26 of 32 shots. Giannis fouled out in the second OT. And in general, Milwaukee just didn't look like the same team we've seen in the first couple of ball games. We've seen that from the Bucks on a handful of occasions so far here in the postseason. Toronto wasn't really good enough to take advantage. They found a way to steal it in the second OT. But obviously, when we look at Game 4, the market's making a big move towards Milwaukee. The Bucks open as 2.5-point road chalk in Game 4. Remember, they were underdogs yesterday. Total for Game 4, 216. The market's adjusting down even after the bad beat for underbettors in Game 3.
Teddy, let's talk a little PGA Championship. Koepka goes wire to wire at Bethpage, and man, he was looking good. He, as far as runs go with golfers, this is up there all time. He's just really knocking it out in the majors. But wire to wire winner. He almost gave it up though there at the end. 6 shots from his 7-shot lead. Hangs on over Dustin Johnson, Teddy.
Yeah, and ends up with a 2-shot victory, although the lead was cut to 1 at Bethpage on Sunday. So much for that. Oh, there's no way to blow a 7-shot lead in the final of the PGA Championship. There was. But Koepka hang on, and he now has 4 wins in his last 8 majors. He was the clear favorite, went off at plus 1,100 in that range, even lower than that in some spots because of all the money that he took. And with the wire-to-wire win, easy cash. Relatively easy cash for Koepka backers, of course. And now he's 6-1 to win the next major, the U.S. Open. DJ, who finished second and gave him a battle down the stretch yesterday at 8-1. And Tiger, of course, he's in the mix. Sure, he didn't make the cut this week. He's still 10-1 to win the U.S. Open, third favorite after Koepka and DJ.
Teddy, May's supposed to be a down month in sports betting, but I'll tell you, we had the PGA Championship, full MLB slate, and NBA playoffs, and then we also had the Preakness, the middle leg of the Triple Crown. And I'll tell you, War of Will wins. And there was a horse out there. It was fun to watch. Without a jockey, loses the jockey, and he still hung tough, riding on the outside there. It was, I guess, I'm not the most horse forward guy, but I don't believe he could have won even if he crossed the finish line in first. But either way, it was an exciting Preakness. What did you see?
Well, first of all, I mean, this concept of May not being a great sports betting month, look, there's at least 10 months a year that are really good sports betting months. You know, June gets lighter, July's as bad as it gets. Except for when the World Cup years or something. But, July's light. And June is just the finals in baseball as it takes center stage. But gosh, the other 10 months of the year, there's plenty. And frankly, we find plenty of stuff to talk about in June and July as well. When it comes to the Preakness, look, that what Boat Express did was insane. The jockey gets bounced off. He runs, and there was a point he looked like he was going to contend. And then, of course, he did another lap after that. That's something, and just when you think you have seen it all before as a sports bettor, you see something like this, you're like, nope, I never seen that before. I've been in Vegas since 98, and that's something I've never seen. And that's kind of the fun of what we do when the random stuff happens. You're like, wow, like Boat Express. And, of course, War of Will, chalk. He went off as 4-1 in that range. He was chalk for a reason. He get his Derby redemption. But Everfast, 29-1 dog finishes second, which means big exacta payouts, despite the fact that the chalk won the Preakness. There'll be no Triple Crown winner this year. We knew that already going in, but certainly a fun race if you were involved on Saturday. Hopefully, you cashed a winning ticket.
An exciting one to watch. Haven't seen it yet. I'm like you, Teddy, a horse running around without a jockey, but it was fun to watch. We got the NFL 2019 season team previews resuming tomorrow. And Teddy and Donnie will be talking about the New Orleans Saints, so that will be a fun one on tomorrow's show. Stay tuned. We got the overnight line movers, Teddy, and make sure to check out SBR Odds, guys. The page has really been revamped, a great place to see the most up-to-date live free odds out there. So check it out at sbrodds.com. We got the Warriors open -3, bet up to -3.5 now, Teddy. We're talking NBA here, 219 at Portland in Game 4 being the total. What are you seeing tonight?
And it's funny, literally within the last minute, as we're recording, this line has gone back from 3.5 back down to 3. So a little bit of a surprise that we're seeing some Blazers money. That being said, the early money all on Golden State, and there's two reasons behind that. One, the markets rarely go for the 0-3 team. At home, doesn't matter. The markets expect the sweep. The money comes for the sweep. And, with Golden State as a dog in Game 3, what's that, about a 6-point line move between Game 3 and Game 4, just based on the fact that the series is 3-0 instead of 2-0. So the market's certainly expecting Portland's will to win, somewhat dissipated by that Game 3 defeat and the poor second half in that contest. But the other issue, of course, is Damian Lillard, who is clearly hurting, has not been good in this series by any stretch of the imagination. The market's reflecting that. But this late move coming back in the other direction towards Portland surprised me a little bit. We'll talk about it a little bit later in the show. We break down the Blazers and the Warriors in full for Game 4 tonight.
Teddy, we got 3 moves on the diamond. Let's hit quick hitter style. We got the markets in MLB fading Yu Darvish, and it's Yu Darvish versus Jake Arrieta. A couple of years ago, these would have been 2 of the sexier names on the docket, but we're seeing Cubs -120, 8.5 tonight versus the Phillies.
Yeah, I mean, the Cubs open in the -135 range, now down to 120. And again, no surprise. If you're a regular watcher of that betting show, you've seen Yu Darvish on the overnight line movers again and again and again. The markets continue to fade Darvish. The issue with Darvish has been his command and his control all season long. And even though the Cubs got the win in Washington last night, worth noting that the teams coming off the Sunday night games and then traveling, well, the markets tend to bet against them as well. No surprise, we're seeing money for Jake Arrieta today. And no surprise, frankly, if we see even more between now and the first pitch.
Teddy, we got another one here on the West Coast. We got San Francisco opening +155, bet down to +125 in early action. This is the Braves -135, 7.5 versus the Giants. Soroka versus Suarez. I believe Suarez's AAA numbers. He had an ERA over 6 in AAA Sacramento, but still gets the call up here. I'm looking towards the Braves. What are you thinking here?
Well, I mean, I don't worry too much about ERA numbers from AAA, especially if we're talking about someone playing in the PCL, which tends to be a high-scoring league. And you'll often find that one bad inning or one bad game has an outsized effect on somebody's ERA. And the market is saying Suarez can pitch. And this is a guy that showed signs last year with San Fran. And, of course, it's a Braves team that they've been hit and miss all year. The offense it comes and goes, but certainly you talk about Soroka. He's been a bet on pitcher all season long. This is really the first time I've seen the markets move against him, but they move against him in a big way. San Fran, the clear wise guy choice in betting action for this one, at least at the overnight price.
Teddy, last game here on the diamond in terms of market movers. Minnesota opens as high as minus 130, and they're underdogs now. Flip favorite out in LA tonight. They're taking on the Angels. The Angels, as far as discrepancies in team OPS, one of the highest, I believe, a 250-point change in team OPS from the road to home. Their home night, the market likes it tonight in terms of betting on the Angels, but it's always tough to fade this Minnesota Twins team, Teddy, one of the biggest surprises in all of the major leagues.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of money making so far this season, Twins are number one in MLB action, and certainly overachievers through the first quarter of the campaign. We're not going to see Minnesota close out the season with a winning percentage of .652 like they have right now. And of course, Minnesota, after, just destroying Seattle pitchers over the weekend, they finally got shut down yesterday, traveling after the game. The markets don't love Odorizzi, but there is definitely some broader market support for the LA Angels right now. No surprise that the Angels become a popular wise guy choice, not just today, but in the weeks to come. LA, a team that probably overachieved a little bit early, and now they're really showing signs of coming around. So the starting pitching matchup, look, they'll always like the young phenom over the crusty veteran, Cole versus Odorizzi, but there's a broader picture here. The market's giving us a buy sign on the Angels in general. Minnesota, they're saying it might be time to sell on the Twins after that red-hot start.
Segment number 3, watch what you bet. Teddy, we got the Warriors trying to close out the Blazers tonight with a Game 4 victory, seeing a total of 219. Blazers minus 3.5 at home. Money line minus 160, plus 140 the other way. You giving the Blazers a puncher's chance here? I mean, the market's favoring them at home.
Well, no. Golden State's the road chalk in Portland right now. You're not going to see Golden State laying 3.5 at home to anybody in the postseason unless their entire starting lineup is hurt. But this is a Blazers team that, what do you say? Do they fight the good fight in Game 3? No, they played a good half and then got outplayed in the second half. Lillard wasn't all that good. McCollum wasn't all that good. Myers Leonard had that great first half and then was invisible. And when Golden State made their run, Portland had no answers. And this has been a Blazers team. They were swept out of the playoffs last year. They were swept out of the playoffs the year before. 0-2 against the spread in those elimination games. So we haven't exactly seen Portland step up in recent seasons in this spot. And of course, Lillard at less than 100%. The question is, what happens with Golden State? It's a Warriors team that has been in plenty of situations in recent years where they've been up 3-0. In fact, they were in this spot twice last year. First round, up 3-0, they lost at San Antonio. Didn't play well. In the finals at Cleveland, they were up 3-0 and won Game 4, clinched the title and did it in relatively easy fashion. So there's been, I'm not going to say mixed messages from Golden State, but there's not a clear track record of the Warriors. Hey, they always close these series out, or hey, up 3-0, they tend to let down. We don't have that from Golden State. And frankly, in my mind, tonight's game is a lot more about Portland than it is about Golden State. What do the Blazers bring to the table? The Blazers bring energy and enthusiasm and effort. They can send this back to Oakland. It wouldn't shock anybody if Portland wins a game in this series. But if Golden State makes a run and Portland does what they did in Game 3, which is hide, it's going to be series over. And the Warriors will sweep. They're likely to cover the number in victory as well.
Yeah, Teddy, nice catch there. I think I said laying, and they're catching with Golden State right now on SBR odds, -3 or -3.5 across the board, depending where you're shopping. We got one in baseball here, actually 2 in baseball, Teddy. AL contenders heating up in Cleveland. Indians versus A's, -175, total of 8 tonight as the Indians host the A's here.
Yeah, this is a Cleveland team that I've been betting against pretty regularly throughout the first quarter of the campaign. And all of a sudden, we're seeing signs that the Indians are about to break out a little bit. We've seen the offense come to life. Carrasco's last 2 starts have been really good. And a Cleveland team, I'm like, Minnesota's winning this division. All of a sudden, the Indians are saying, not so fast, my friend. And look, for the first 6 weeks of the campaign, Cleveland looked like a shell of the Indians team that we've seen in recent years. Certainly, you talk about a lineup that hasn't been hitting, a pitching staff that's underachieved, a bullpen that's underachieved, a team that's underachieved. Now we're starting to see signs. Oakland, however, coming off a great series over the weekend. They needed that. And this A's team, we talk about Cleveland underachieving. Oakland's been an underachieving squad. 3 games under 500. I look at the A's as potential moneymakers. I do not look at them as out of the playoff race or, hopeless sellers. I'm not seeing that from Oakland. And Anderson certainly has some potential in that regard. A's, even after the strong weekend series in Detroit, still just 8-15 on the highway for the campaign. Hence, the big underdog price.
Teddy, let's talk a baseball game out on the West Coast in Petco as the Padres host the D-backs in the NL West. And Teddy, we got 2 good pitchers on the hill here tonight as Paddock goes for the Padres. And guys, if you haven't seen him pitch, he's electric out there, an intense guy. We also got Weaver on the hill for the D-backs, former first rounder in the 2014 draft. And he hasn't let up more than 3 earned runs in any start this year. Other than his first start of the season. That's 8 straight starts. Team OPS for both teams under 710 the last 2 weeks. I like the under here tonight in Petco where fly balls go to die. Teddy, how are you viewing the D-backs versus the Padres tonight?
I certainly wouldn't talk you out of an underplay, although the totals of 6.5 gives you very little wiggle room in these contests. That being said, yeah, we're talking about 2 pitchers who we probably want our money on. Luke Weaver's shown all kinds of signs all season. And Paddock, although Paddock is coming off his worst start of the season, last time out against the Dodgers, only gave up 3 earned runs, gave up 6 runs in that ball game. But he's certainly shown signs of being the ace that the Padres need him to be. San Diego fell below 500 yesterday, and all of a sudden you wonder about that hot start for the Padres. I thought San Diego was going to be in this race all season long. They haven't played like that. The bats haven't been all that good. They haven't hit anybody. You talked about the lack of OPS, and that's bad news against Weaver tonight. And, of course, worth noting, San Diego with a losing record at home, Arizona with a winning record on the highway. We've got a decent enough sample size at this stage of the campaign that numbers like that, I start to pay attention to them by the middle of May, which is where we are right now.
Segment number 4, Teddy, off the mic, talking a silly season continuing for the Lakers. We're already talking off season. We're talking the LA Lakers. That's going to be trouble. And it's almost like they should make a reality TV show. They're out there in Southern California. But, man, what is your view on the Lakers this offseason?
Yeah, silly season is the right word for this one. Magic walks away. Okay, walk away. No, I'm going to walk away, but I'm going to go on First Take, and I'm going to accuse the GM of backstabbing, and I'm going to talk about the Lakers brass and the ownership and basically throw everybody that I can under the bus. No, Magic, no. There's enough of a circus going in LA, all right? Your reputation is not going to get fixed by going on First Take and throwing everybody you possibly can under the bus. Lakers going to be better without Magic. Watch and see. As a team president, I'll just leave it this way. He was a better player. Shut up and dribble, Magic. No, that's a joke. But for God's sakes, this is not the type of stuff that the Lakers need this offseason. And it's time for Magic to go quietly into retirement, not to be babbling on and on and on.
Teddy, it has been fun the last few days stepping in for Donnie right side, getting called in from the bullpen, the lefty out of the pen. But I appreciate you having me on, and the watchers out there, thanks for chiming in, giving us the likes out there, and hopefully see you guys sometime soon on the SBR YouTube channel. So thanks for having me.
Hey, you were a great fill-in guest host, Drew. I'm sure you'll get another opportunity somewhere down the line. Thank you out there in listener and watcher lands for spending time on your busy Monday with us right here on that betting show, sportsbookreview.com.